Viewers in the UK who can't get enough of the A-League, including the great Colin Hendry. What a colossus, as you say, at the back he was. And now Sotirio against 10 men. Confidence levels high after that goal that he dispatched in the West. That one was a tougher angle.
Yeah, sort of inside the box facing the goal. That body's there, but he was fairly static, so he takes on the shot himself. There he goes, he gets his head up before. Wasn't much on inside of him, but he certainly screwed that one off the outside of his boot.
So that decision that didn't really need to be made has changed the game. It was such a free-flowing encounter. Now Western United changed their tactics because they are down to 10. Fascinating to see how this unfolds now in the second 45. And Sean Evans is the one that Mark Rudan has tried to chat to and now has had the chance to converse with on that topic. He's the fourth official who I believe tipped off Alex King that was yellow card worthy. Always potential for that kind of situation to unfold when the yellow card comes out, but every other yellow card was worthy. Here's Imai right through the middle, and he left a boot in there on Lewis when he didn't need to.
I think it's maybe frustration because he lost control of the ball. Gets through people. Lewis is, or maybe he slips, to be fair to him, rather than lashing out.
Almost 2-1 in terms of fouls conceded. Lewis again classy on that left peg of his. Davila has one to match, and he backed off there. Interesting. Sutton just lost his balance and gave away the foul.
Yeah, the ball was just slightly overhit. He gets there first, but I think that's the right decision. Imai so good in his positioning. And you see that one again where he gets his ball in between the player and the ball. But Western United, we've got Diamante as the player furthest up now. Rios on this right-hand side.
And Payne pushing on here. Lockie Wales knows he's there. Goes for goal and couldn't keep it down.
Well, he made space for it. Payne wasn't happy. He wanted that ball. But he's full of confidence at the moment. He has a little look around. He's got Payne on his outside. Step over. And certainly had Sale concerned, didn't he? Just kept rising and slightly off target as well.
Fenton shaped to bend one in behind. Went back via Devlin instead. Lewis asking a lot there of Wayne, who was able to keep the attack alive. David Ball just drifting between the lines. Only had just over 40% of possession in this game. Wellington, they should be able to build on that stat with the numerical advantage in this second 45, but misplaced pass from Fenton that time.
Yeah, and Sutton comes in there. There he's got to hold his width. Wellington need to stretch the 10 men of United.
Switch was the cry, and maybe some fortune in the fact that the assistant had his flag up, because that ball was going to send Fenton into space on that right-hand side. Took a little too long to get that ball off the pitch, so take two on the throw-in. Horsecock right in the rear view mirror of Davila. Bends one around for Sutton into the area. And again, he's tucking in there, Robbie.
Well, that time was okay, but I'm just not sure what he was trying to attempt there. Under pressure from Tomoka Imai. And I will be able, even with a replay, I'm still not sure I'll be able to determine what he was thinking.
He's surprised by the way the ball skimmed, and he was thinking about doing some other things if it was a softer bounce his way. Did take off a little, to be fair. It's another stray arm copping the jaw of Clayton Lewis from Diamante, but probably more in that than the Hamill yellow card, but it's play on for Western. Wales light on his feet. Headed off at the pass by Devlin. Sanchez finds Risdon. Just fighting for possession. Has to turn and go the other way now and try and catch up to ball. Davila waits in the middle. Devlin will use him. Fenton providing the width. Durante trying to usher teammates to push out defensively.
You see how deep Western United are.
Fenton able to bring it down. Lewis and ball. Villa right the meat in the sandwich, and Sanchez has dived in from behind there. The card is coming out again against Davila. Durante is on a yellow card. Sanchez was not.
Yeah, very narrow. That ball was never really on to Davila, and they crunched him. Straight ball, two defenders around him. That's what you call the hospital ball.
No stranger to seeing that card, of course. It's his 7th in his maiden A-League campaign. And Fuktale often asked for protection for Ulysses Davila, who's copped his fair share tonight. Got that game coming up on Sunday as well. They need the ice bath after this one. Well, the Mexican. He's going to leave set piece duties this time to Clayton Lewis. Let's hope he can go on, but he is feeling the effects here. The number 10.
Boys with the wall.
I wonder if he clips this one to the back post.
Goes for goal instead, and Ryan Scott, confident in his angles, lets it sail wide.
It was from a long way out, wasn't it? He had a little look to his right, but takes it on. And as I said, Scott very comfortable there. Didn't even bend.
It's an amazing story, this. Ryan Scott getting all of these starts, Zappers.
Yeah, huge story. Ryan Scott, of course, came to the club from the Victorian NPL with Bentley Greens. We saw him through his heroics in the FFA Cup and signed here as the second goalkeeper. But back in week 11, you might remember Philip Curto came off with concussion. Ryan Scott's been super impressive since then. Mark Redan really loves the way he communicates with his back four, back 3, 4, 5, whatever, the way they set up. And that's kept him in this starting 11. A huge second half for him now, as they're down to 10 men.
Piraeus just slipped after putting the move on Tim Payne.
Yeah, skipped past the first one and then just sort of slipped.
There's a look at Philip Curto as a watching brief. Week in, week out at the moment. That was extravagant from Diamante. And Risdon was nowhere near getting on the end of the 1-2. Western United did have some time for some R&R on this trip to Tassie. That included a game of golf at Barnbougle the other day where Mark Rodan put an eagle on his scorecard. Lost out to Steve Horvath in the playoff, and Ryan Scott, and Lockie Wales and Connor Payne were among the players to take the opportunity to tee it up at that picturesque course. Will that get me a free round next time I'm down there, Robert?
I reckon it will, for sure.
Might just file that one away. Helped on by Risdon. Parias not giving up on it and gave away the foul ultimately.
Yeah. And he didn't need to, because he was always going to play that ball out of play. Payne wasn't trying to beat him and go around him, so he was always going to get the throw in.
Sotirio picks up the scraps. And Devlin knew what was on, let Davila know. Goes back to the Mexican in that central area. Ball via Lewis. Borderline offside was Louis Fenton. There's no way past Lockie Wales anyway.
Well, they're defending very well at the moment, and I think Vitelli might think of a change, because since half-time they haven't created much at all, and Western United fairly comfortable, although at times somewhat deep, but just lacking ideas, maybe going a little bit central. It's where all the bodies are. I know they've got quality there, in particular Davila. But really, I think spreading Western United, making them run side to side, keeping width.
Decent spell of possession this for Western.
And that shouldn't happen when you got 10 men. And maybe a bit of fatigue, Speedy said, and pointed out that it's the same starting lineup from the Perth game. So I think changes will be imminent, and possibly see maybe a triple change.
Yeah, Tom Mohamed, Alex Rufer loom as obvious candidates off the bench. Matt Redenton, McGarry perhaps in that left back role. We'll wait and see which way Talley goes. Fenton tracked that one in flight. Taylor asking for options. Lockie Wales, who scored Western's goal, is now a quasi left wing back, joining into the back five when required.
You can see just that block from United as Wellington look to come forward, and they need to spread, and they shouldn't have to go back to the goalkeeper.
Unfamiliar role for Connor Payne now, filling in the Brendan Hamill position. Sotirio in behind Payne. Decent cutback ball, keeping it alive here. He's got support, and Davila, in the end the numbers will win out, but that was a very near thing, and ricochet off Sotirio could have gone anywhere as well.
You know, you see Ball just in that penalty area, he gets his toe first, and I think he's waiting for a little, maybe praying for a bit of contact right there, and they just smothered it, Western United, with bodies.
If he goes down, I think the spot kick is coming. Credit to him for keeping his feet through it all. The Englishman, who's a very honest man. There's a look at those Wellington substitutes. Keeping warm as the temperature dips down towards single figures. Alex Rufer taking a swig. That might be a sign. Ball got away from Uzcock. Numbers here. What can Sutton dish up? Overhit on the wrong kind of angle.
Yeah, it's a poor delivery from Sutton. He's had an indifferent start to this second half. Plenty of time there. I'm going to clip this to the back post, but over hit and ball for first time I can remember in the second half, getting in between the lines, able to turn and feed that ball out to Sutton.
And this is a result that those teams around them would celebrate. A 1-1. Both teams going up in ones rather than one going up in threes, and it would keep the Wanderers in the top 6, of course, who are clinging to that spot right now. MacArthur have had a dip in form as well. 3 points either way. And suddenly, one of these two teams has all kinds of momentum in search of that top 6 spot. And young Sutton will be off shortly because here comes James McGarry. Diamante, brilliant. Farias gets a shout from Risdon, tried to play him in. David Ball defensively
Tracked him. It's typical David Ball. And the pass was a little bit under hit from Farias, and for Western United's pass, when they get up here, they've got to make it count.
Wooscock the target, towered over Cam Devlin. Not a bad option, but there was no one to flick it onto. Soterio made a decent run behind Connor Payne there, and Lewis is capable of dropping one over the top.
Very difficult though with Western United so deep, and look at the midfielders nearly right on top of that, well, defensive line I'd call it. You can't call it a back three anymore. Very difficult to drop one in behind.
Here he is, there's space. He goes outside of the boot for Wayne. Flag stays down for now. And now it's up.
I was about to say, it's just proved me wrong. Very difficult to drop one in behind.
They look like an easier ball. More conventional ball would have put Soterio in behind, but it's time for that change. The teenager Sutton, replaced by McGarry, who has lost his spot the last couple of games, but determined to get it back now and show Ufuk Talay what he's got in this last half hour. Pretty handy weapon to bring on with his left boot.
Yeah, I think that's a very good substitution. Young Sutton's done really well, but probably just looked like he needed a break. McGarry very attacking down this left-hand side, but his first contribution is a foul.
When will we see Bessart Barisha in this kind of game now?
Well, you may not see him.
Yeah.
He's still very comfortable on the ball, isn't he? 350 games for him. Amazing achievement. Great professional.
Of course, he played in the NSL, and
He certainly did.
the total is up to 408 National League appearances now. He moved past Mick O'Shea last week on the all-time list, up to outright sixth.
Great man. Three brothers. Mike O'Shea was a centre half, uncompromising, I might add, in a pairing with David Radcliffe, Socceroo, of course, and the brothers Johnny O'Shea, fantastic midfielder, and Robbie O'Shea was a really good left fullback in a team that we won a grand final in '82, beating Sydney City, and then won the championship the year after with those three brothers, and of course Mickey O'Shea there.
Diamante going for goal, as he did famously in a final from that kind of range. While we're doing some reminiscing, what about the scoreline tonight? It's Western United, courtesy of Wales, 1. Wellington, courtesy of Wayne, 1. All the W's. First time that all teams and all scorers for both teams in a half started with the same letter since Sydney, Croatia with Seal and Sydney Olympic with Sard. Way back in 1989. Who do you reckon came up with that?
I know who came up. Go on, give him the credit where it's due.
Andy Howe Stato.
The maestro.
Follow him on Twitter and you can get those kind of stats right throughout the game as he checks through his countless records that he carries with him everywhere. Tom Ahmed about to make his entrance, the Israeli international.
Yeah, that'll provide an aerial threat up front, and with Western United sitting back deep, as they've been forced to do, balls into the penalty area from a wide area, which is what they're not doing at the moment, could prove a way forward for Wellington.
I've seen some teams with a numerical advantage in recent times struggle to capitalise.
Well, we're seeing that now. There's no doubt about that.
Here's McGarry again, tucked in a little. Davila finds Sotirio. Here comes Fenton, and just got a little confused, those two.
Sloppy. Davila gets himself in between the lines, able to turn for the first time. Only David Ball's been able to do that in this second half, and it's their players played into Western United. There's no doubt about that.
So with a quarter of the 90 to go, it's Sotirio off and Hamed on. Proven goal scorer at international level. Complaints about the way that Stephen Taylor went in on Uscock there. It works out for Western United anyway. Diamanti with anticipation, then went past the ball, looking for contact on McGarry, upended by Ball instead, and the card comes out once more.
Yeah, he moved away from the ball. He was trying to get contact. That's what he did. And when he comes back to the ball, he got contact. It was David Ball crashing into the back of him. Said, all right, well, McGarry won't give it to me, so I'll go and look for someone else. It's experience.
And he's looking for that because he thinks he can score from here, from the dead ball. Ollie Sale doesn't have anyone in his vision to affect him setting up the wall. Uses Stephen Taylor to set it up. Is that wall back the required distance? Diamanti's saying, I'm not going to buy real estate off Alex King. He goes into the wall as a result. They would have been back all of 7 or 8 yards, wouldn't they? There's Diamanti twisting this way and that, and earns a corner. He just says to the ref, 10 yards next time, if you don't mind.
Is that a mullet? I think it is, isn't it?
You see a mullet there?
Yeah, that's the modern day mullet. Shaved the outsides.
Bow to your superior knowledge on hairstyles.
Well, you've got no chance of me having a mullet. But the trend continues. Western United very comfortable. At the moment, of course, the point would be, all things considered, a good result. And of course, they're going to try and sneak one at the other end. They've had a good couple of minutes. Fancy Wellington should be pushing on there, pushing on. They shouldn't be able to play out the back.
Western United in no real hurry to take the throw. Tale sped up the process. They've lost the speed with Sotirio being withdrawn. Lockie Wales turns around and the ball's at his feet with a decent degree of fortune about that. Diamanti gets it back from Wales. Can look forward now. Getting away from Devlin, and you don't see that kind of miscue too often.
No, it's a miscue, but for Western United, they can pen Wellington in here. Oh, they don't. They let them to take it, I guess, with 10 men. The priority is to get back. You saw early, particularly that opening half an hour, the ball speed from Wellington. And that's certainly gone in the second half.
Lewis, straight ball. That was ambitious.
It's a good play from Western United. Can't find that pass. You hear Fuctello there, get the ball wide. That's what they need to do. They've got Tomer Hemed on now. He thrives with service from the wings. You've got players who are dangerous in those wide positions. The two fullbacks, McGarry and Fenton.
Davila directing traffic. McGarry trying to make the run in behind. Again, they keep it central for now at least.
Well, they're dwelling on the ball. That's where the ball should go. Their first effort should be to get the ball wide.
And now the delivery for Hamed, who gets on the end of things.
There's the example. I mean, he doesn't get this on target, but it looks dangerous, doesn't it? Fenton drops the shoulder. Past Wales, bends it around, and Hemed's there across in front of Durante. Can't direct it on goal.
So more on him, down to Zappers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the message from Fuctello, to get it out wide and provide that service that we just saw from Tomer Hemed. Of course, looking forward to seeing him and his influence on the game. A player with great international experience, as you touched on. Speedy, and played with Brighton Hove Albion in England. Not the only former Brighton Hove Albion player in the stadium tonight, believe it or not. David Clarkson, the former South Melbourne midfielder, also spent some time at Brighton. So there you go, we're in Tasmania. Two former Brighton players, and David Clarkson brought in by Western United recently to help them build their relationships in Tasmania. Of course, Clarkson spent most of his junior days down here in the Apple Isle.
Great man. Great appointment by the club. Looking to get a foothold in Tasmania. Who are starved, of course, of professional sporting clubs. Poor pass out. Picked off by Wales. Diamanti again getting his head up. Back to the goal scorer. Numbers inside the area. Riston threaded it back to Wales. He's looking wide to Payne. Patient build-up by Western United. Can they finish it off? High by Payne.
Yeah, gets underneath it, but it's the right idea. Get yourself into the penalty box and they can't dive in on you. And he's capable one-on-one to make enough room to get a strike on. There was nothing else on. It goes around Fenton and can't keep it down. You just get the feeling they'll get a chance. That was a half a chance there.
Wayne drifting wide, looking for Hamed in the middle, and sure handling by Scott.
Yeah, it's a great ball. And Hamed a little bit flat-footed. He was already in front of his defender. Didn't get close enough.
So Berisha Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. He's not too far away. Does Diamanti stay on the pitch to combine with Berisha? Let's hope so. From a neutral perspective. But it's a likely change, you'd reckon. Overhit. It's another poor delivery from a wide area, and it's time for that change. And unfortunately, they won't be in concert. It is Berisha coming on for the skipper, Diamanti, who's been troubled by a back issue in recent times. We weren't seeing eye to eye, those two, at the back end of the first half, the referee and Diamanti. Interesting change, Zappers.
Yeah, look, you said Diamanti has really struggled over the last month and hasn't had a lot of game time and just doesn't have the 90 minutes. So they know that they have to manage him, and a game coming up on Monday night, Mark Redan will want him to start. So that's the sacrifice they make, and we're expecting to see Besart Berisha on a little bit earlier. But given the fact that they're down to 10 men, no surprise he's come on with 14 minutes to go now.
And it breaks his way here. McGarry nicked it away. Last time they met, 2-2, approaching stoppage time, and they were going end to end in search of a winner, both of these teams. How will this play out in the final minutes? How aggressive do Western United get in search of a winner, down to 10? Can Wellington just step it up a little? At the moment, it's all in front of Western. Ball, Davila making a move inside the area. Goes down, and they ask for a penalty there. A little nibble from behind. And the ball spins back into play, so VAR buys some time to have a look at it all. Chris Griffiths-Jones hitting pause, rewind in the VAR centre right now. Doesn't weigh in too often in the VAR centre.
Well, at first glance, I don't think he needs to be honest.
Gary will retrieve. Hamed showing him where he wants it. And they both went for the same ball. Connor Payne in that unfamiliar role with Durante. Pressure mounting here for the home team in Tassie. Lewis, McGarry, Davila, and Parias wins that little 50-50. So what went on earlier on inside the area for this man?
Well, he certainly went down. And there was a challenge that came in. Ball was played to him by Ball. Sorry about that, the ball to Ball. But no, nothing that you could tell by his smile when he got up.
Bench being utilised again here. Charles Lokeliten-Ngoy, another attacking weapon on for David Ball, who's run himself into the ground. Get up, Charlie was the cry, but beaten to it by Ulskog. Lokeliten-Ngoy still looking for his first A-League goal. It was be some occasion to find it. And his 25th, largely cameo appearances, of course. Inside the final 10 minutes of the 90. Delivery for Hamed in the middle. Imai put a body on him expertly.
Superb defending from Imai. Real quality ball. And Imai just got his positioning absolutely perfect. Like, that's the kind of service that Hamed wants. whipped in with pace and just uses his body to put Hamed off. And the comfortable second half continues for Western United.
Yeah, Josh Risden's found that second wind after...
Well, he's found it because he hasn't had to get forward too often. So he's just sitting in there. Tactically, Mark Ruden's played it right for the moment.
Ben Waine, who's been on the periphery in this second half, earns the attacking throw. Tough for him to get some goal-scoring chances, the role that he's playing. Question the wisdom in that move for a young man in goal-scoring form, but still might fall his way. And Gary tried to thread one that Hamed wasn't anticipating. What do you make of their setup, Wellington, in that attacking third at the moment?
Yeah, look, I don't see too much wrong with the setup. It's just the movement of the ball, movement of players as well. I can see the reason why you'd move Waine out to that right-hand side. You can cross the ball very well, but yeah, they've just struggled for intensity and tempo and moving that ball quick enough, stretching Western United.
Can it be a mindset thing? You think you can just pass it around and the goal will come and you drop it down a goal or two?
Well, it shouldn't be the case, the position they're in, and this was a massive opportunity to go for the jugular.
Spare a thought for the Wellington fans across the ditch who are probably bleary-eyed, ready to go to bed, but hoping their team can snatch all 3 points late here. Would lift them to 7th on the A-League ladder. They were in a winning position in this first half for about 20 minutes.
Look at that. 6 across the back there for Western United.
Davila teasing one in, and Durante on the right side of Hamed. Win by Sanchez. Can they launch a counter? Dylan Parias is a handy weapon on the counter, and Berisha waits to see what he can produce. He tried to find him, and he should have gone earlier, says Best.
He could have played Berisha much earlier. That was a good situation to try and create something.
I think it's happening. They're going to get that end-to-end stuff here in the last 10 minutes. Hamed goes down, playing for a penalty. He got the first touch, but Durante can't quite believe the antics.
Well, Lokalingoy goes for goal, and that's the one when he comes inside, he should have played that ball. You can't see McGarry, he's out of shot, but he had a clear run around the back in behind them.
Berisha breaks better than even in that little duel with Payne. And Foctalo happy about the way that Payne executed his header. Guarachena waits in the wings. Another handy player to bring off the bench at this stage. He'll be on maybe in the next stoppage. McGarry, space to push into. Lewis. Lokalingoy. Worked away by Sanchez. Inventiveness by McGarry. A shank by Risden.
It's just a lack of ideas in that front third for Wellington.
Davila puts Waine on the front foot. Again, near post delivery. Last touch off Hamed, says the assistant, after waiting a little while. Time for that change for Western. So it's the speedster Parias withdrawn for the creativity and guile of Nika Guarachena. All of a sudden, we're less than 5 minutes away from 90 minutes being up in Tasmania. UTAS Stadium in Launceston. Good play by Wayne. Makali Ngoy picks up the second ball. And they went for the same ball. Hamed and Davila. Wales kept his feet. Guarachena is ready ahead of him. Ball staying in. McGarry. Lewis. Tempo lifting for the Knicks. MI perfectly positioned again, but they can't get out at the moment, Western. Davila right through the middle for Hamed. Davila was sniffing around for any back heel. Lifting it over the top for Fenton, who brings it down. Durante playing for a free kick. Gets no joy. And Lewis drives it into teammates. And it's getting a little ragged here. Wayne again from that wide area. Davila able to turn away from Sanchez. Ulysses Davila denied by the woodwork. What a super effort it was.
And that's what you need, just something like that, a bit of genius from the man who's got it all. Out of nothing, really. Davila just turns, gets his shot off, keeper's beaten, it crashes against the post. Terrific skill in the tight area. And best chance of the second half.
On the follow-up, Scott judged it well. There was a flasher across that near post. He nearly got a head on it. Davila, the movement off the ball sent Wales one way, open up this space. Couldn't link up with Payne, who'd stayed forward. Lovely touch from Lewis. Plays Wayne in behind, and the header came off his own teammate there, Sanchez, in the battle with Davila, and Scott claims.
He's lucky he goes straight at him. Davila looking to bear down, and Sanchez with a last gasp almost threw himself at this ball. You can see there he is in the picture. Wayne with the cut back looking for Davila, and he nods that back. It was a good offensive header. And Scott very gratefully collects.
Well, they scored the 90th minute winner when they met just 11 days ago. Ben Wayne popped up. Can they repeat the dose here, Wellington? Fenton's touch sent him backwards. Fourth official poised, Sean Evans, to let everyone know how many more minutes to go. In behind Hamed here. MI just regathered the situation just in the nick of time.
Oh, how many times has he defended like that this evening? Absolutely brilliant. So much strength to hold off Hamed. They're very, very deep now. It should be goalkeepers. This hit cross from Lewis, not what they needed right now.
Ryan Scott holding on to the ball. A lot longer last time. This time he tried the drop kick for Lockie Wales. Tale not liking what he's seeing. on the positioning front from a few of his players out there. Payne pushing on. Cam Devlin. Davila on the turn. Blockers in the road that time. Has another crack here potentially. Takes it off the foot of a teammate. The cutback. And Connor Payne in the right place to frustrate Hamed.
Just bodies in the box. Have just crowded the box. Anything that comes in there, they're getting to it first. Davila has stepped up a gear in the last 5 minutes, but will it be enough? Time running out.
Devlin, 2 straight on. Work the angles for Taylor. And again across the face. How's the spin on this one? Middle stump for the throw-in. And eluded. Sanchez in the middle. Brought down for Davila, who keeps it alive for Wayne. And they earn a corner.
Again, look how many bodies are in the box. And they've been disciplined. They haven't dived in when that ball drops in the penalty area. They're going to have a set piece, and they've got certainly bodies that can defend a set piece. So they go short, Wellington.
Connor Payne asking for help in the 2-on-1 situation. Great ball in. Awkward again for Sanchez, but he got his head on it.
Got in the right spot. 2 Wellington players, and he gets in between them and affects the header.
Plenty of huff and puff from Wellington, but no late winner yet. And the header whistles wide. He got a good piece of it there, Tom Hamed.
He certainly did. I thought this maybe mishit this cross, but he meets it. It's behind him as well. And Scott fairly comfortable that he had it covered. And you'd think that might be just about it. Last chance. Well, maybe one more.
Especially if he can take 50 seconds to take a goal kick. But that's how much pressure Ryan Scott has been absorbing in the last 5 minutes. Card comes out for time wasting. So maybe we'll go beyond the 4 minutes. Luckily, Ngoy couldn't keep that attack going. McGarry has options in the middle. Lewis drives one out. Is it going to be the late show for the Knicks? Again, Sanchez outstanding. And they settle for a point apiece. Not the result either team was after, but in the end, after being reduced to 10 men just before half-time, Western United will have to settle for it after an heroic defensive display. They've still got games in hand. They edge up to 24 points on the A-League ladder and leave Wellington 2 points behind them. Ufuk Talay not at all happy with the second half showing as 2 former teammates shake hands after this one. Full time in Launceston. Western United 1, Wellington 1. Robbie Slater, what do you make of it all?
Well, second half was a great defensive performance from Western United, but a very disappointing Wellington from what we're used to seeing them. Got a bit of huff and puff towards the end, but didn't find the answers at all. Weren't clever enough in that final third in the second half. Really didn't put Western United under any constant pressure until the last 5 to 10 minutes. And he'll be delighted with it. That's a better point for Western United than Wellington. There's no doubt about that.
Ends the sequence of 3 straight wins for Wellington in this fixture. And both teams have to focus on recovery now especially Josh Risdon, to be available again for back-to-back starts potentially for him. Let's get some reaction now with Zappers.
Yeah, Ben Wayne joins me. Ben, congratulations on another goal. 3 in 3 now. You must be enjoying this extended run as a starting player.
Yeah, no, it's obviously amazing to be playing consecutive games in the A-League and to be scoring is another thing, but 3 points is the most important thing, you know, and unfortunately today it didn't go our way. You feel like that's an opportunity lost, given Western United were down to 10 players? Didn't look like you really created enough in that second half? Yeah, it's always disappointing, but I mean sometimes it is actually tougher when they go down to 10 men, and that's just the way the game is. But yeah, I mean we'll look back at the video and I think we'll be very disappointed. But your role changed a little bit in that second half. Was the instruction to try and get the ball out wide and get the ball into Hemet, especially when he came on? Yeah. In those last 10 minutes, you saw me guard on the right just to try and create a bit of width and get the ball in the box as much as possible. Unfortunately, I didn't do it as much as I probably anticipated, and yeah. And I imagine you were keeping an eye on the Olympic draw last night. Are you excited about the prospect? Yeah, it's always exciting to think you're in the shout for the Olympics, but at the moment it's, you know, focusing on getting us to the top 6. That's the most important thing, and if the Olympics comes off the back of that, then brilliant. But yeah, not a bad draw for New Zealand. All the best with it. Sweet, thank you, cheers. All right, Lockie Wales, the other goal scorer tonight, joins us now. Lockie, congratulations, a wonderfully taken goal.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad one. We kind of started the game a bit sloppy, which was disappointing, and then we found a rhythm at the end of that first half, and then the red card kind of killed the game. So we were disciplined in our shape second half, and it was a good professional performance. Just on that goal, it looked like it really came against the run of play. Wellington looked really on top at that point. It sort of felt like it came out of nothing. Yeah, it kind of did. We as I said, we didn't start well. We tried something different, and it didn't quite work. So we resorted back to a different formation that we're more used to, and then we began to get a bit of success after that goal, and probably could have gone into half-time with the lead. It was unfortunate BJ got sent off, and we couldn't really dictate the game after that. Just on the send-off, a huge talking point in the game. Didn't look like much in it from where I was sitting. What did you make of it? I mean, I can't really comment. I got knocked out 2 weeks ago from maybe a similar thing. I'm not sure. So, I mean, the referees, they get paid to do their job. It's hard. You know, everyone makes mistakes, and as players, you make mistakes as well. You can continue scoring, and Graham Arnold will continue considering your name. What about the Ollie Roos draw last night? What did you think of that? Yeah, I mean, pretty good teams. Argentina, Spain and Egypt. So it'd be an unreal experience if I got picked. You know, all I can do is play good club football here and put my best foot forward. Well done. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Keep scoring goals. He'll be knocking the door down, Lockie Wales. But it was talked about in that interview, Robbie,